Hello everyone, and today we're going to be drawing hands. Yeah, the one thing everybody hates. So, you're not really going to need much. I'd say just a sketchbook or a piece of paper, really. You don't need much. This is a really cheap sketchbook. It just has like, paper in it. This is what we're going to be using. It might be small, but it is mighty. You're going to need a pencil. I just chose this one. It's a Dixon Ticonderoga. I found it on the ground. Here's an eraser. I've had this for about 5 years. Not really, I've had it for about 3. And it has worked pretty well since. It's one of these little clicky erasers, and I like it. I like the little click. It erases well. That's basically all you need in an eraser. So, yeah. What most people get wrong about hands is that you need to do this complex thing where it's like, oh, you need to go from step 1 to step 875. It's really simple when you break it down. Essentially, a hand is just a box with more boxes around it. That's like the most simplistic I can go, and even that's really bad. So you get that, and then you just turn it into a hand. But even that's a bad looking hand for me. No, I'm not the best artist, and probably not the one you should be listening to right now. But yeah, let's just start this. I know the basics. I can teach you guys. Alright, so orient your paper however you like, but I'm gonna put it this way because this is how I am most natural drawing. Okay, so basically what you want to do is I'm gonna start off with a box because that'll be the palm here. You know what? I'm gonna do something. For all the things that I'm going to be labeling, I'm going to label my hand. So we're drawing the main box. Yeah, let's just try to draw the hand like this. Open with your fingers closed together. Doesn't even have to be a good box. So you got your main box. Now, what I like to do is usually separate the fingers here into one box. Because they're similar in height, and you can just chop it off, put a line through it. Sorry if I was out of camera. And then you just do the individual pinky, because it's quite smaller than the rest. And then the index finger. And then you just separate that, and if these two are separated, then you draw them individually. So normally I do poses basically like that, and then maybe separate it just a little bit to make it look more natural. But since we have the main box, this is going to be a lot easier just to do the fingers. So let's start with that. Let's say that we're going to flip this actually. So usually you can draw like a mitt, little mitt shape, and it'll help. So just draw that, and then there you go. You got 2 fingers right there. That's real easy. See, like I said, simple. Simple. It's easy. Come on, you don't have to overcomplicate it for you guys. And then you draw that. And you draw your hand, your little pinky there. It's a little shorter than the rest. It's still good. And then usually I start with the lines just to basically. So you got your fingers all done, and then you can pose them however you want. Let's move on to the thumb. I usually break it down like this first. So you get this meaty part of your hand done first. And then that's just this shape right here. That's really easy just to know. So you get the meaty part down, which and then also remember that there's another one along the side, and then one. So there's about 3 meaty part of your hands. That's just empty space essentially, and that's where your bones are. Those don't matter. Characters don't have bones. So you get one. Let's label these. You got 1, 2, 3. So you got 3 parts of your hand that are nice and meaty. Then you got your fingers and everything. So now we're gonna draw the thumb. Now, as you can see, it's not just protruding out; it protrudes on a small little shape here. So let's call this number infinity. It looks like an 8, but it's an infinity now. And then you just, from there you can chop it off and make your wonderful little thumb. Let's do that now. So we, from here, now remember it doesn't go all the way to the top. You know, leave room for the little thumb to be there. So right about where I did the arrow, you come out here, and then there you go. You get that number infinity part of your hand. And then what I like to do is break it down in smaller boxes. And yeah, that's, nope, forgot the meaty parts. See, I'm already failing you guys. Now, once you get these, so you got 1, 3, 2. Don't judge my counting. Now you gotta go to the wrist. The wrist is really easy. Basically, right about. Now for drawing, it's not the same. Usually it would come out for number 1 to about here. So that is where you would start your wrist. So right about here, and then wrist. I'm not used to writing on myself. So you go. You got that. And it's smooth sailing. Now, from here, you can probably see that there is a bone. There's a bone sticking out right here. Now don't make it too big. I can't write correctly. B for bone. There's a bone right there, so don't forget it. So on this side you can barely see it, but on this side there's an extra detail as well. Right about here in the middle, you have a small tendon right here that protrudes quite a bit. You can see right about here, that's where my wrist, the actual muscle, starts. So on the drawing, all we gotta do is just add that small little line, and then yeah, on most people their bone probably protrudes just a little bit, and then yeah, you've made a hand. Take a few minutes to clean it up, and that's what I'm gonna do, and I'll check back with you guys. Okay, so I fixed up the hand just a little bit. I didn't do much. Honestly, all I really did was kind of move this. I wasn't sure of the position of the top part of the thumb. So you have your basic hand down from all these parts. So let's draw it from a different angle. Let's draw it at a side angle, like this. Let's see, you're catching a ball. Yeah, let's do that. Now, a very good thing to do is having hand practice. Instead of just having your hand out in the open like this or that, which is good for dynamic posing and everything, but holding something, having that weight in their hand, that is also good. So, usually, now your hand doesn't sit there and then anything conforms to your hand, like a mug. So, usually your hand does not your hand conforms to the mug. The mug doesn't conform to your hand, so you can't stick out your hand like this and just fit the mug in there. You probably can if you push hard enough, but then again, your hand's conforming to the mug. So, let's draw that. You usually draw the object first, and then draw your hand around it, like a ruler. And then you draw your hand around the ruler, as you can see. See, isn't it good I labeled myself? So it's a lot easier to just break it in. That was a really dumb idea. But let's start with a simple ball. Now you might think, wow, how do you get your circles so perfect? That is such a perfect circle. Why are you kidding yourself? I can't draw. Let's do this circle over here. No, it's just a simple ball, I guess. It's a ball. That's a ball. So we got a ball. Let's catch the ball. Now, usually, if you have a ball, let's say this fist is a ball, so you grab in it. Your finger, sometimes it's big enough that you're like grabbing it like this, and then almost all your hand is on it. But usually it's like a small ball. Not all your hand is gonna be on it. You're usually holding it with your fingers. So there's gonna be a little bit of gap there, as you can probably see. Just a tiny bit of gap. So usually, like I told you, we start with the box. So that's what we'll do. But, as you can see, that's not just a normal flat 2D box. What I'm thinking about is a plane. So, if you're a hand, it's not always going to be a flat box either. So, you can draw it in different shapes. Just think of it in a 3D space. So, say you have a piece of paper. As you can see, it's semi-angular, sort of, you know. So you got this, and then let's say let's use the mug again. Let's actually make this into sort of a square. Okay, I just made it thicker. All right, cool. It's not always gonna look like a square from right there. So, that's how it looks. So yeah, just to remember. Now for this, I usually like to start with the middle of the hand, just to know where the hand position is. And then I like to do the wrist. So let's say the wrist comes out to here. And this is all just normally knowing how it is. Now, as we know from this diagram over here, the thumb is a small little shape that it sits on. So we're going to draw that. Draw the thumb. And we're already pretty much there. Now, you might see one, you might see two fingers. In this one, I feel like you might see mostly one finger, but barely two. So from here, what comes after it? Yeah, it's the index. So we got the index finger here. And I like breaking it into simple shapes. So a finger basically consists of one small, a little bit bigger rectangular piece, and then you have your big old top piece. For carving it around things, I like drawing curves, and then your bone there. Now, if I flex my hand, not really, you can see that every finger has their knuckle, and then with it attached usually. Now you only usually see 3 of these, but there is one here. That's how your fingers stay, movable, but you can barely see it. So you got right about 3 of these. So you got one here, one here, one here. There is one there. Trust me, it's there. Just dig into your hand and you'll find out. So we got this. And like I said, you can barely see. Now I guess you're doing a grip like this around the ball, but which is not. So even I mess up. I mess up a lot. So. Yep, let's change the thumb shape. That's not the best. And that's a guy. I guess that's a person holding a ball. So like I said, it's really simple. That's a bad diagram. But let's do a hand holding like a sword or something. Yeah, let's do that. Let's say that so see the old pommel. Alright, so we have a sword. So let's say we have a sword here. Now usually maybe a person is carrying it one-handed, but we're gonna be like the person is here. Their arms reach down to here, and they're holding it with 2 hands. Now for a fist, you mostly see this. I usually use boxes or circles for hands. You can use whatever you want. You can use a triangle, you can use a trapezoid, you can use a mug. And yeah, do whatever you like. But as you can see, it's not just, no thumb days. You have a thumb, don't forget about that. Unless they don't have a thumb, then don't draw a thumb. But forget to not draw a thumb. But don't. Just do it. That's what you need to do. So you got a thumb. I'm saying cutting it off right about here. Bada bing, bada boom, bazongles, I am funny. So you got the main stuff. You got your big old box. I can't draw. This thing is running out. Let's change color real quick. Let me grab a different color off the floor. There we go. Let's start with blue now on the back of my hand. So you got the big old box, but it's not just the box, you can see. You have this little boy right here. It's a triangle this time instead of this shape. That's a dumb shape. Let's start with a triangle. And then there's a smaller shape on that. But that doesn't really matter, because you guys will ignore that in the pursuit of drawing something cool. This guy's... Sorry, I'm focusing too much on the whole arm. Alright, so you got the wrist connecting to the arm bones. And then you get the arms connecting to the non-existent head bones. And the pooks, and then, yeah, alright, cool. So, like I said, see if I can zoom in here. Alright. So right about here, you got this, and that. Now notice how it's not going into here. Don't mind this mistake. You notice how it's not, okay, let's see this. You notice how the shape is not going into this, really. But it's going overlapping just a little bit. That's basically how we're doing it. So your thumb comes around and meets, usually with your index finger on the other side. So you got your finger here, you got your thumb, it wraps around, as you can see, to the other side. So that's what we're drawing, really. And then, I made the box a little bit too big here, I'm sorry. So you got this, and then let's just draw the knuckles, really. And those usually represent where the hands are. So, there you go. You got this little... Ooh, we get to label this now. You got this part right here at the end. Meaty part, what was it, infinity? Yeah. Number 15. Infinity. Let's do infinity times 2. So it's even better. It's maybe a little bit, yeah, it's bigger. It's better. It's bigger and better. It's better than anything. Alright. So we do have that part right there, because you're holding on to something, so it's pushing, dare I say it, you're holding on to something, and it's pushing the fat out. So it's pushing this part out. You can see that's, there you go. So you draw this part. That's your hand. And then you draw the knuckles on the other one. Infinity times 2. And then you got the wrist and everything. And then you got a character holding a sword. A sword. I made that a little too dumb. Forgive me, I do not know how to draw a sword. So yeah, there we go. There's a person holding the sword. Right there. That's the thing now. I look like I tattooed my hand. Anyways, so see you guys whenever I make a new video? No? Alright, good. Anyways, remember your stuff, draw on your hand, and peace out.